Why am I here? I am here because I love the Philippines and I love the Filipino people.
President Duterte is still convinced that the sacked Bacolod City Police Chief is into the illegal drug trade. His comment coming a day after a meeting with Senior Superintendent Francis Ebreo and other Bacolod police officials with alleged drug ties. Here's the president in his own words.
Well, seems to me that at the very least he's a protector. He might not be into the trafficking business, but he was really a protector. I can't believe that with all the information available to every chief of police or city police director for that matter assigned in the province, that they would not review the record of the province in terms of criminality and drug trafficking.
Malacanang says Mr. Duterte gave the police officers a dressing down for allowing the proliferation of illegal drugs in Bacolod. The officials relieved of their posts on Saturday are still under investigation. The palace says the president's action is a warning to other policemen that he will not tolerate incompetence and inefficiency, especially concerning the drug war. A high-profile Chinese fugitive now in the hands of immigration officials. Immigration officers arrested Shi Haoji in a condominium unit in Pasay City on Sunday. The Chinese government has been on the lookout for Shi, a general manager at a big company in China, since March last year for economic crimes and corruption charges. Authorities say he pocketed 11 billion pesos, abused his power for private gains, and is involved in bribery. No other specific details were given.
Fugitives who has trying to manage to run away with the stolen assets from the public will be pursued and followed and arrested and repatriated to face the justice. That is the firm stance of the Chinese government. That is also the obligations of all the state parties.
But may this serve as a warning to all the fugitives trying to hide here in the Philippines. Actually, we already have several fugitives arrested in cooperation with foreign counterparts. They cannot hide here in the Philippines because the long arm of the law will catch up with them.
Immigration officials say Shi will be deported. He's now blacklisted. That means he is banned from entering the country. Time and again, authorities have removed and relocated informal settlers in Manila. Now officials are again working to relocate hundreds of thousands more who are partly to blame for Manila-based pollution. But will it work this time? Our Caroline Bonquin tells us what some of those affected think about the government's plan.
Maribel grew up in their house on top of the breakwater of Manila Bay in Baseco, Manila. She built her family here. Now, her 5 children are all grown up and catch fish in the bay to earn money. They never thought of leaving.
Kasi parang nasanay kami sa hanap buhay namin. Simula maliliit pa kami, yan ang hanap buhay namin, dagat eh.
But Maribel wouldn't have a choice once Manila Bay rehabilitation begins. In the next 2 to 5 years, the government is poised to relocate around 233,000 informal settlers. They are those either living on waterways leading to Manila Bay or areas intended for sewer lines. In Manila alone, there are 6,000 families living near the bay and drainages.
Ang hinihintay lang ho namin talaga is relocation site coming from the national government.
The National Housing Authority is already looking for resettlement places outside Metro Manila. But some informal settlers hope this time the government would also consider their livelihood.
People in this part of Manila Bay have lived here for many years. This is where they found opportunities to provide for their family. Some of them work at the port, nearby factories, or just rely on fishing or even peeling garlics to earn a living. Without the prospect of earning enough, a lot of them are hesitant to move out.
They include Joanna, who has been given a house in a relocation site in Montalban, Rizal. She tried living there for 2 years, but meager salary in the province drove her back to the big city. Now she works in a sardines factory and has additional part-time jobs.
May trabaho din po, kaya lang yung hindi katulad dito na sa isang linggo sumasahod ka ng 2,000 mahigit. Sa Montalban, ang tendera lang po doon, magkano lang po, minsan 100. Sa 100, kukunan nyo pa po ng bigas, ulam. Kulang baon pa po ng mga bata.
DILG Secretary Eduardo Año on Tuesday assured local government units relocatees will not be displaced from work. Aside from informal settlers, the Environment Department identified hotels, commercial establishments, and residential areas as pollutants. Even vessels in the ports will be inspected for discharging oil to the bay. Caroline Bonquin, CNN Philippines.
Netizens are optimistic about the government's plan to relocate informal settlers along Manila Bay. This Facebook user says it takes political will to do it, and he believes the Duterte administration has that. He also calls on others to show their support. Marlon says he hopes coastal barangays, municipalities, and provinces will start cleaning up their areas and not wait for national authorities to call their attention. Ramon Roses says the relocation plan is long overdue, but notes that it's better late than never. Meanwhile, Joseph Herrera just hopes, quote, sana entire Metro Manila ma-rehabilitate na din. Expect a significant delay in crossing from Makati to Mandaluyong and vice versa once the Rockwell Bridge closes for renovation this Saturday. That warning from the MMDA, which says the Pasig River crossing could take over 4 times longer than usual. But MMDA General Manager Jojo Garcia says this is a necessary evil.
Usually may study sila, Rockwell, tawid ka lang 10 minutes, sa kabila ka na.
Nasa Mandaluyong ka.
Or 15 minutes at most, no, traffic. Ngayon, siguro additional 1 hour yan. No? Kasi you need to divert. We have alternate routes, no? Sabi ko ngayon, Makati Mandaluyong Bridge and then EDSA Guadalupe. Talagang, hassle talaga. But ito yung inaantay nating mga long-term solution.
Garcia says the Rockwell Bridge is just one of 10 that China is funding. 2 of the structures are for repair and renovation, while the rest are brand new. Meantime, the MMDA is also looking at other ways to ease traffic on EDSA, among them making lanes narrower to make space for more vehicles. In other news, the National Privacy Commission formally opens its investigation on an alleged passport data breach, but the Foreign Affairs Department asks for more time to carry out its own probe. Our correspondent Makoy Popyoko tells us more.
The Privacy Commission's legal experts were scheduled to meet with Foreign Affairs data protection officers on Wednesday for a preliminary fact-finding meeting. But instead of data experts, the DFA sent 3 lawyers who delivered a letter of request asking the Commission to grant it a 10-day extension to discuss a possible passport data breach. The Foreign Affairs Department is also conducting its own internal investigation. Its lawyers explain the agency needed enough time to gather facts that will be included in its report to the Privacy Commission. The meeting lasted for more than an hour, and the Commission just gave DFA a 5-day extension.
You think the 5 days is enough?
I cannot say for sure, but since that's the decision of the Commission, we'll try our best to be prepared.
The fact-finding meeting resumes on January 21st. Among those expected to attend the meeting, the passport printing contractor Apple Production Unit Incorporated. Privacy Commissioner Raymond Liboro says the DFA stands by its latest pronouncement that there was no breach after all.
In control ng DFA dito sa data na ito. That says a lot already to also assuage the public, no, na yung pong data na ito ay nasa kamay, na wala ho sa kamay ng hindi dapat.
But if there was no breach, what is there to investigate? Liboro says they want to review contracts and scrutinize data handling. Whether Apple's alleged subcontractor, United Graphics Expression Corporation, has discretion over passport holder information.
Kung ano mga recommendations din natin later, no, ma-recommend natin sa mga ibang ahensya entering into contracts.
While the Commission seems to be initially taking DFA's word that there was no breach, it vows to thoroughly investigate the matter so that the government can better protect personal data. Makoy Popyoko, CNN Philippines.
The remains of the newlywed Filipino couple who drowned in the Maldives will be home soon. Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary Elmer Cato gave an update on the repatriation. On Twitter, he says the Ministry of Tourism of the Maldives has conveyed to the Philippine Honorary Consulate in Male that it would shoulder the cost of bringing the victims home. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin yesterday assured the families of the couple the government will pay for repatriation. The DFA says the remains are in Sri Lanka, where they will be embalmed before being flown home. Leomir and Erica Lagradilla got married last month and went to the Maldives for their honeymoon. The couple drowned while reportedly snorkeling. The government believes a more autonomous Bangsamoro region in Mindanao will attract more investments and create more jobs. But the future of Bangsamoro is now in the hands of people in the south who will vote in a historic plebiscite. Our Rex Remitio has that story.
Ashlea Omar has been selling menswear and watches in Baclaran in Parañaque for 6 years now. Omar left her hometown in Marawi City when she was 15. Now at 21, she will return home again. Omar will vote in a plebiscite to ratify the Bangsamoro Organic Law that will pave the way for the creation of an autonomous region in Mindanao.
Para po makatulong sa bansa. Gumanda na po yung probinsya namin. Wala na pong magulo.
Like Omar, 22-year-old Faisal Yunus will also return to vote in his hometown in Binidayan Town, Lanao del Sur. He earns less than 1,000 pesos a day, selling various women accessories in Baclaran. The future of Bangsamoro is now in their hands. The Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or ARMM as presently known, is the country's poorest. While the poverty incidence rate among Filipinos nationwide went down from 2006 to 2015, it's the other way around for ARMM. If the region's economy will be divided among its people, each one will only have about 13,000 pesos. This is far from the national average of 82,000 pesos and 244,000 pesos per person in Metro Manila. That's why the Trade Department believes that a more autonomous Bangsamoro region would attract more investors, create more jobs, and give income for the poor.
Maraming maitutulong ito sa ekonomiya natin, yung business and livelihood ng mga kapatid natin ng mga Moro. Dahil, of course, lalaki yung budget doon at yung pagiging kalakal na negosyo ay mas mapapabilis.
The Bangon Marawi Chamber of Commerce meanwhile shares this view, stressing the new provisions that are not found in the ARMM. The group says the Bangsamoro government will now have the authority to issue franchising permits to telco and transport companies. It can also explore its natural resources such as mining and power and set up a Bangsamoro Economic Zone Authority which gives fiscal incentives. They are optimistic they can attract more investors from Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and Indonesia interested in agriculture and halal food products.
So imagine na gaano kalaki ang maitulong niya sa Bangsamoro area. I am sure with that, maraming investor na papasok dyan.
The Chamber's President Elias Macala, however, believes the ratification of the law is one of many steps to make Bangsamoro a better investment place. He says the national government has to supervise the new region's early years. It must provide tight security, maintain the martial law, and end corruption and bureaucratic red tape in the region. More importantly, he also says the government should speed up the rehabilitation of Marawi after the war with the Maute Group in 2017.
The Health Department warns against using vape as an alternative to tobacco. Health Undersecretary Eric Domingo says these e-cigarettes still contain nicotine.
Ang Department of Health is pag nag-vape sila, tas later magiging ma-addict sila sa nicotine at magiging tobacco smoker sila. So hindi po ito nakabubuti. Kailangan ma-regulate siya for content at saka for safety. At kung meron silang claim na ito ay gagamitin para siya ay as a quitting aid.
There are pending bills in Congress seeking to regulate vape. As millions of Filipinos suffer from diabetes and hypertension, the Bureau of Internal Revenue tells retailers they should carry out the VAT exemption on some maintenance medicines. The 12% VAT exemption on medicines for diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol took effect on January 1st in line with the tax reform law. BIR Deputy Commissioner Marisa Cabrero says some retailers blame their non-compliance on cash registers, which are not yet programmed to reflect the new VAT exemption in their receipts. But she adds retailers were given a year to prepare for this.
If the system nila cannot do so, they are supposed to issue a manual resibo to recognize the VAT exemption and clearly indicate in the face of the resibo VAT exempt. So hindi po dapat tanggapin yung rasong yung aming kaha ay hindi marunong magluwa ng resibong VAT exempt.
Cabrero says violators may face hefty fines or imprisonment. Health Undersecretary Eric Domingo says they are studying also exempting cancer medicines from VAT.
A sad day for the Philippine music industry as it bids farewell to a rock artist. The Manila police said Razorback drummer Brian Velasco died by suicide this morning, with his last moments captured live on his Facebook account. Facebook has deleted the live video in line with its policy to remove content that encourages self-harm. Velasco's family and bandmates have yet to release a statement about his death. There's always help for people going through difficult times. The Hope Line for suicide prevention is open 24 hours. The numbers to call are 804-4673 and 0917-558-4673.
Sports, a fight for survival for the national men's football team in their debut at a prestigious tournament. The Philippine Azkals will play a must-win game against fellow first-timer Kyrgyz Republic, 9:30 p.m. in the United Arab Emirates. A victory will boost their chances of advancing to the next stage of the tournament. Sports desk football analyst Sedolf Tupas says the Azkals need to put their best foot forward against a dangerous Kyrgyzstan team.
I think this is a game na tinitingnan ng Azkals that they can actually get maximum points, but it is not going to be easy with this team because I think it's a team on the rise.